Hey guys, what's up? Name's Dan. This is gonna be doing my first deck tech for Magic the Gathering. This deck right here I'm showing you guys is I call it Blue Black Proto Mirror Control. I've been looking at a lot of mirror decks recently for standard on YouTube, and I don't know, like I've been seeing a lot of just been seeing a lot of the traditional mono white mirror swarm decks, which I mean they're not bad, but just competitively, I'm not a big fan of them. Like there's so much to go against it right now. Creeping corrosion, just really a lot of stuff that can really mess that deck up. Mass swarm, I mean not mass swarm, mass removal, like Pyroclasm, Slag Storm, Day of Judgment, Black Sun Zenith. Just a lot to really mess that deck up. This deck is a really nice alternative. It's something a little bit more differently. It's a little bit, into my opinion, I think it's more competitive than the other deck. I seem to have held my ground with this deck a lot more than I have with the mono white. I tried the mono white. I didn't like it. It wasn't as consistent. It wasn't as consistent as I wanted it to be. It was all around. I would get stuck with hands that I really didn't want, and it was just, to me, I didn't like it. If it works for you guys, then great, that's awesome. I think it's, I mean, if it works, go for it. But for me, it didn't really work. It really didn't stick out the way I really wanted it to, and But this really helped me out. This was a great alternative. I'm a big fan of mirrors, and it was the ticket that I liked. So let's get started. We're gonna start with the blue package here. We got Preordain. You got 3 of them. It's your draw engine. It's really good, very useful. I mean, scry 2, draw 1's always nice. You got your counter package here, right here. Control package. You got 2 Stoic Rebuttals. You got 4 Mana Leaks. Your removal package here, you got just 2 Go for the Throats and a playset of Doomblades. The reason I do this is because there's a lot of artifact going on in the game, so I'd rather, bomb the artifacts with Doomblade, and the Go for the Throats are essentially just extra removal. Obviously, if you're going against blue-black Tez decks, then you'd want to, dip this out for the sideboards, which I'll show you guys in a bit. This is your artifact / creature package here. This is your mirror package right here. First one's going to be 3 Palladium mirrors. Just 3. You don't need 4 for this deck. Playset of Mirror Galvanizers. It's really good. It's pretty much the 1/1 to our mirrors. It really is a help. 2 Shimmer mirrors. I really don't see this mirror see much play, but in this deck it's a vital importance. It's not enough to make a playset or 3, but 2 is just good enough to get the job done, since you got stuff to really peek at the deck and the draw engine. So you're gonna get him, and it's good if you get him, but if it's not gonna hurt you if you don't get him. You got 3 Battle Spheres, just 3, no playset, because I had a playset, and you really just don't want to have him, or you don't want to have 2 or more in your opening hand or within the first 3 or 4 draws, because it's kind of a dead draw, or just you're really kind of just gonna get stuck with him. You really would wish it's gonna be a mana leak or something else, but having at least one in the hand is not bad, because once you play him, that's what's gonna really start getting dangerous. I'll explain it in a second. You got 3 Everflowing Chalices. You got 2 Mirror Reservoirs. You got 2 Wurmcoil Engines. Wurmcoil is a really good card. I'd pay 6 to bring it down. I'd pay 6 to bring it down any day. Death Touch, Lifelink, 6/6 gets it's gone. You got 2 tokens. Really good. These are your win conditions: Battle Sphere, Wurmcoil. Obviously your mirrors, because Galvanize is always going to make any mirror a win condition, because of the 1/1 boosts. You get your reservoirs to get Battle Spheres or any other mirror that you're really going to need back. Infinite Mana Combo, obviously. It doesn't have a lot of the 2-drop mirrors, because those 2 drops, I'm going to play all this pretty much, with the exception of obviously the Stoic Rebuttals. But yeah, these are really going to be my main 2 drops, and I really want to control whatever he's got. Let's go on to the Planeswalker package here. You got just 2 Tezzerets. Obviously, I got one that's proxied. My buddy lets me use his for when I play the FNM, so I just use the one I got proxied at the moment. But really good card. I was deciding on putting 3 for the deck. It's not really needed, but it really helps out. It really can make a pretty good impact on the board once it touches the board, especially with this deck. You get Jace Balerion. I don't have money for a Jace the Mind Sculptor, so this is obviously my alternative. But definitely Jace Balerion, depending on what deck you're going against, at turn 3 is not bad to draw that extra card. He's always going to be a target though, so either suicide him, or depending on what deck you're going against, just once he's at 1, pop him up to 3. You play against control, obviously you just want to suicide him because you want to be ahead of your opponent. So Jace is always not bad. On to the mana base. Let me start from here first. You get your basic lands here. You got you get your 4 swamps. You get your 6 islands. Your main mana base. You always want to have that stuff. It's always good. I like this better. I like 6 islands better, obviously, because you want to get your preordains on the board. You want to get your mana leaks, and you want to get your stoke rebuttals, on the board when you need them. 3 Mystifying Mazes, always good for control, always good to buy you time. Obviously, you don't want to use them on a Titan or anything that when it comes back, it's really going to benefit them or really hurt you. But definitely, Mystifying Maze, really good card, buys you time, and it's very useful. 2 Tectonic Edges, just 2. The reason why I just have 2 is because where I'm at, Valakut's not really being played a lot. I had 4 when Valakut was really big, but obviously right now, Valakut is really dying out where I'm playing at. So, a lot you're really going to go against is control generally, or just Splinter Twin. Early game tech edging is awesome. Once they have 4 lands and you have 2 tech edges, pop both of the tech edges, and 9 out of 10 they're going to mainly have just non-basic lands. So they pop up from 4 to 2. So mostly people scoop half the time by turn 4, assuming you start and they start their turn 4. So it's really nice to at least have 2. 4 is it's not bad, but generally you just want to have 2 because you have other lands that you really want to get at the time. We got playset of Drowned Catacombs. Obviously, you get your blue-black going on. Your dual lands are always nice. You got 3 Darkslick Shores. Now, these are my 7 points of dual lands, my blue-black. You always want to have these because obviously, consistency is key when it comes to this deck. Consistency is always key because I've had times when I play this deck with just basic lands, and I would sometimes I would draw blue, but no black for my black spells, or I would draw black and no blue for my blue spells. So definitely these cards are really a must. Playset of these is not bad neither. I like 3 because you just want to have enough to draw 1 at the starting hand, because once you start drawing them out of the starting hand, they're obviously going to start coming out tapped by like turn 4 and so on. So, 3 is just good enough to draw them more consistently. But you can always put 4. You draw them a little bit more often. They're not bad. It's going to slow you down just a little bit, but not a lot to really hurt you. 1 Halimar Depths. The reason I just have 1 Halimar Depths is just because it's not a needed card, but it's really good. It's pretty much a preordain for 3. It's a worse preordain, pretty much. You get an extra card, but you can't put everything down or draw. But you can combo this with preordain, and then just put the cards you don't need at the top, then preordain, put them both at the bottom, and draw the card that you might need, etc., etc. It's all situational. It's all about paying attention to the opponent, knowing what he's going to do, and knowing what he's going to possibly have. So to make your deck run and get the answers that you need quicker. Now, that's pretty much the overview of the deck. Now onto pretty much the combos of the deck. Obviously, you have infinite mana here. Shimmer is always great because you get them by turn 3. You play them at the end of your opponent's turn, and turn 4 you can combo that by if you don't remove their crap or counter their crap, you can turn 4 Reservoir, turn 4 Reservoir, at the end of their turn 4 Reservoir into Palladium Mirror. Gives you obviously mana so that you can have Battlesphere for later on, but you know, he's not really respected that much, so they're gonna see him and they're not really gonna target him until they start noticing the things that you're gonna be doing. But you know, by that time it's probably gonna be too late and you're already gonna have an advantage on the field. So, you know, because when you play FNMs, a lot of people really get paranoid and they don't want to play cards because once they see control, they don't want to play the cards that they need because, you know, Mana Leak and Stoic Rebuttal or just destroy, you know, just forms of destroying. So people really get paranoid when it comes to FNMs and they're just really going to play it safe. So, you know, this is a way of you playing it safe and being aggressive at the same time. Tezzeret, obviously, is really good for this deck. All his abilities are really great for this deck. I mean, you know, you got his +1, you get all your artifacts that you need. You got no mana, try a +1ing for Everflowing Chalice or Reservoir or even Palladium, depending on the situation. You don't have any creatures, -1, get your, you know, get a creature out. You know, make anything creature, Reservoir, make a Chalice creature, all that good stuff. There's a lot more combos, but I really want to get to the sideboard here. But these are your main combos. This is what you really want to do. Obviously, the other stuff's a little bit more self-explanatory. You get your board right here. It's not complete. I have my other, you know, my friends usually tend to let me use some cards for the FNMs. Obviously, I would, you know, start with the first ones. You got 2 Duresses. This is what I would need. I mean, a lot of people like the Spies and they like Inquisition, but this is really what I need to get the job done because I really want to duress your, you know, if I'm playing against control, then I want to duress your Jaces, I want to duress your Mana Leaks, and then the deck on the sideboard, it has 3 surgical extractions, so, you know, turn 1 I want to duress, then pay 2 surgical extract all your Mana Leaks, so pretty much I get rid of all your removal. So, you know, the opponent's really sweating bullets while you're playing stuff with ease, you know what I'm saying? So the opponent's really worried, you get the opponent really worried there, especially on the blue-white or blue-black or blue-red Splinter Twin. You get rid of the Splinter Twin, you surgical extract Splinter Twin, but you mainly want to get rid of Mana Leak and Jace or anything that you really can get rid of by turn 1. You got 2 Black Sun Zeniths. They're good for mass removal. Obviously, you know, you get it by turn 3. You play against red deck wins, and they start popping out Bushwhackers and a lot of stuff that's really going to get annoying. You know, by turn 3, you just put 1/1s on everything and just get rid of it all. Deck runs only 2 Spell Pierces. 2 is fine. It's a really good card, but it's, you know, just 2 would really just get the job done because you already have Mana Leaks, so, you know, you can Spell Pierce a lot of stuff. You know, you get rid of their Mana Leaks if you want to play something by turn 3. You want to play a 2-drop by turn 3, they Mana Leak, you Spell Pierce their Mana Leak. Then that also combos in with the surgical extractions. You can Spell Pierce Jace, you Spell Pierce Swords, you Spell Pierce Splinter Twin, a lot of stuff. But, you know, definitely a good card. 2, just recommend. I have 2 Grasp of Darknesses here, but I'm really going to swap them out for 2 Geth's Verdicts or 2 Dismembers, but for right now, 2 Grasp of Darknesses isn't bad because, you know, if you're going against Artifact, you swap this out for they go for the Throats, or you swapped out the Black Suns for they go for the Throats. So, you know, but these are obviously probably just going to get swapped out for something else at the, you know, for the Geth's Verdicts or the other things. Geth's Verdicts is always good because you can bypass the bypass protection, bypass swords, and all that stuff. It runs 3 surgical extractions and 2 Memoricides. Memoricide's really good because if you turn 1 surgical extract their Mana Leak, so, you know, turn 2 Everflowing Chalice for 1, then for turn 3 you pay 4 for Memoricide. Obviously, 9 times out of 10, most control decks are just going to have Mana Leak, so you really don't have to worry about anything else. You Memoricide Jace, you Memoricide Splinter Twin, you Memoricide the Pentarch, you Memoricide a lot of stuff. Memoricide Swords, it really is really good. But anyways, let me wrap this up because I'm running out of time here. Pretty much, this is the overview of the deck. It's a really fun deck. Try it out at your FNM. It's really great. I've gotten top 4 with this deck, and I've won 1 FNM with this deck so far. It's really good. The way the deck is built, it's so nice so far as I think. If you like it, comment, rate, subscribe, and give me some feedback. I always like it. Take it easy, guys. Bye.